Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in. Picture this. You're standing in your kitchen, staring down a very sleek, very expensive piece of black glass that is just aggressively beeping at you. We've all been there, right? Induction cooktops are the absolute gold standard of modern kitchen tech. They're super efficient, incredibly precise, but man, when they stop heating and start flashing weird cryptic symbols or emitting a high-pitched squeal, it can literally drive you crazy. So today, we're acting as your ultimate survival guide. We're going to decipher those alerts together and get your kitchen back into peak condition. To show you just how real this struggle is, take a look at this. One completely exasperated Best Buy reviewer actually wrote, "My wife has threatened divorce over this stove because if anything spills on it, it shuts off. But you can still leave a dry $100 pan on it and destroy it. No way, right?" But honestly, we completely understand the high stakes and the sheer annoyance of these hypersensitive appliances. Here's the thing, though. It's not just annoyance. Every single flash and beep is actually a diagnostic signal. The machine is literally trying to tell you exactly what's wrong. So here is our troubleshooting agenda for today. We're going to logically escalate through 1. Cookware checks, 2. Spills and locks, 3. Power resets, 4. Universal error codes, and finally, 5. Hardware failures.
Let's kick things off with stage 1, the ultimate cookware check.
Okay, before we assume the cooktop is completely busted, let's look at the absolute most common reason your burner isn't working. If your power level is just endlessly flashing at you for, say, 25 to 60 seconds before just giving up and shutting off, the very first thing you need to do is the free magnet test. You see, induction works through electromagnetism. It actually induces a current directly inside a ferrous or iron-containing pan. So grab a standard fridge magnet and touch it directly to the bottom base of your pan. Make sure it's the bottom, not the side, because a lot of pans have a magnetic rim, but a totally non-magnetic base. What you're looking for here is a really firm, strong stick. If that magnet slides right off or just barely holds on, your cooktop is simply not going to recognize it.
And you can see the stark contrast in materials here. You can have a beautiful, incredibly expensive copper or aluminum pan, but put it on an induction surface and it's basically invisible. Aluminum, copper, glass, and most 300 series stainless steel mixes, they just will not work. Your cooktop is going to beep or flash because it senses absolutely zero load. On the flip side, cast iron, enabled cast iron, and 400 series stainless steel, those are definitely your best friends here.
Now, even if your pan is magnetic, placement and size are absolutely crucial. These induction coils are notoriously fussy. Your pan has got to be perfectly centered inside those circular graphics on the glass, and it needs to sit perfectly flat. Plus, the size has to match the cooking zone. As a general rule, you need a minimum base diameter of about 12 centimeters. If you take a tiny 10-centimeter milk pan and drop it onto a massive 21-centimeter zone, the sensor won't trigger at all. You'll just get an error or a quick automatic shutoff. And just a heads up, brands like Smeg and Bosch are really strict about this stuff.
Moving right along to stage 2, spills, locks, and resets.
So let's say your cookware is totally fine, but the cooktop is still emitting this continuous, piercing beep. Well, now we need to look at the surface environment. Those sleek glass touch controls, they are hypersensitive. To the cooktop sensors, a puddle of boiling water, some condensation, a little grease, or even just a stray kitchen towel resting on the panel, all of that feels exactly like a human finger just constantly holding down a button. If a spill isn't wiped away in about 10 seconds, the safety feature kicks in, deactivates the cooking zones, and sounds the alarm. Oh, and definitely double check that you haven't accidentally turned on the child lock. You'll usually spot a little key or padlock icon on the display if you did.
A perfect example of this is the Samsung D0 error code. This specific code literally translates to stuck button. It pops up when the panel detects continuous touch, which usually happens because it got wet and just stayed wet for a bit too long. Remember that Best Buy reviewer? If you don't clean up a spill fast, the stove locks itself into this D0 mode as a built-in safety precaution. Before we get into resets, I've got to share a quick, kind of funny tip we found for all the Bosch owners out there. If you are totally sick of those constant confirmation beeps every single time you touch a button, maybe you're trying to hide the fact that you're making a midnight snack, no judgment here, you can actually turn off the key sounds. You just turn on the hob, hold the key symbol for 4 seconds, select the C2 parameter, and set it to 0. You will still hear the main power on chime, but the rest of those annoying little touch beeps, completely silenced. Okay, so what do you do when a sensor glitch or a stuck button error just will not clear even after the glass is spotless? You do the universal power cycle. Think of this like rebooting a frozen computer. Turn the cooktop off and unplug it. Or if it's hardwired into your kitchen, head over to your home's electrical panel and flip the circuit breaker off. Now, here is the absolute most important part. You have to wait at least 1 full minute. Seriously, do not rush this. That full minute gives the residual electricity inside the internal capacitors time to totally dissipate, which effectively wipes away any weird software glitches. After that minute, flip the power back on and see if you're good to go.
Next up is stage 3, decoding common error codes. What's actually really fascinating here is that even though every brand likes to be a little bit different, Smeg uses E codes, Westinghouse uses F codes, Miele has its own longer strings of numbers, the underlying logic across the entire industry is basically identical. You can group them into families like a cheat sheet. E0 or F0 almost always means no pan is detected. E1 or E2, that's an overheat warning. E3 or E4 points directly to a sensor fault. E5 or E6 is all about electrical voltage. And anything E7, E8, E9, or higher, that usually points to a serious power module failure. Let's look a bit closer at those E1 and E2 overheat codes. If you happen to boil an empty pan dry or the cooktop just got way too hot, it locks you out to prevent permanent damage. The fix here is super straightforward. Power it off at the wall and let it cool completely for at least 30 minutes. But if you keep getting this overheat code over and over, you really need to check the ventilation gap under your counter. Induction inverters create a massive amount of heat, and they push all of that down into the cabinet cavity. If your installer sealed that cavity shut, the cooktop literally can't breathe. Also, keep an ear out. If the internal cooling fan has broken, it's going to overheat constantly. And finally, stage 4, when internal parts fail. So if your display is flashing an E3 or an E4, you're dealing with a pan temperature sensor fault. Basically, there's this thin little sensor called an NTC thermistor tucked right under the ceramic glass at the center of each cooking zone. Its whole job is to monitor the temperature of the pan base to keep things safe. If it fails or shorts out, that specific zone just shuts down entirely. But the good news here? On a lot of units, this is a really straightforward, replaceable part that can just be unclipped and swapped out. You definitely don't have to scrap the whole stove.
Now, if you're seeing an E5 or an E6, put the appliance repair catalog away. This code actually means the incoming electrical mains voltage to your house is out of spec. It's either way too high, way too low, or there's a bad neutral connection somewhere. Do not blame the cooktop for this one, and definitely don't go buying stove parts. You actually need to call a licensed electrician to come check your home's switchboard. This is especially true in older homes where worn-out RCDs or loose terminals can cause huge voltage drops when they're under a heavy load.
All right, finally, we arrive at the dreaded high-level codes. E7, E8, and E9. These indicate a really severe board-level failure, usually a power module or a coil fault. See, induction cooktops use these high-frequency inverters to drive the coils. When one of those components, very often it's something called an IGBT transistor, when that fails because of an electrical brownout, a massive voltage spike, or honestly just old age, it effectively kills that entire half of the cooktop. Fixing this almost always requires safely discharging some very high voltage capacitors and putting in a completely new control board. So we have literally walked all the way from a simple cookware mismatch right up to blown inverters. The very next time your cooktop starts screaming at you, just take a breath, wipe down the glass, and ask yourself, based on everything we just went over, is a simple fridge magnet and a 1-minute reset going to solve your problem today? Or is it finally time to call on the pros? It really makes you wonder, right? Is the absolute precision of modern kitchen tech worth the hypersensitive hassle? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy troubleshooting!